everybody, my name is Tiffany Shambly and welcome to my channel. My channel is kind of chronicling my journey on becoming the next Shoals area hot girl, but today is Sunday Fun Day. I just left my church in Leeton, Alabama. That's where I'm at today. I go to Leeton Baptist Church and I have the most amazing pastor, Brother Mark Mayfield, and we have just great people working in our church. I have an attitude of gratitude today, okay? Because sometimes as Christians we need pick-me-ups. We had someone come to our church one time talking about, the washing of the feet and how, back in those days of Christ's time, even Jesus washed the feet of his apostles. Our feet can get dirty, just like in those days, and that's why you wash feet everywhere you go. And sometimes as Christians, our feet get dirty. We can't walk right because they hurt, they're dirty, they're sore, and we need to wash them. And today is one of those days where I had the washing of the feet moment. That's what I'm going to call this today, is the washing of the feet moment. So this attitude of gratitude started today in choir. We're all bunched together, Vacation Bible School starting. Everything is helter-skelter up there. And you know what? We had these amazing songs. And we sang Living Hope as our last song. And I just wanted to cry. Like, I've been on the brink of tears all day. And it's not because I feel like there's something more I need to do and I'm feeling regret. I'm feeling just being grateful. I'm excited to be a part of a church that is preaching the word and holding people accountable, just talking about truth, y'all, just talking about truth. And we're going to get to that in just a second. And I'm just sitting there and I'm so excited because it talks about in the morning, then come the morning. So then it talks about in the morning when Christ rose from the dead, and he defeated death, and and therefore the devil's like sitting here like, oh my gosh, it is finished. What's finished? So Jesus rose from the grave, and he actually once he rose, he walked with his apostles and walked with people for days, 40 days after that. And even the doubters, he showed his scars. And in Acts 1, he ends up going up to heaven, and he gave the Great Commission that we're supposed to spread the word and bring others to God. And that's what my church preaches on that all the time. We talk about that all the time. And so he talks about Acts 2, and I'm going to read it. He read like 1 through 13, but I'm just going to read 1 through 4 because that's what he kind of talked about the most. And it says, when the day of Pentecost had arrived, they were all together in one place. Suddenly a sound like that of a violent rushing wind came from heaven and filled the whole house where they were staying. And tongues like flames of fire that were divided appeared to them and rested on each one of them. They were all then filled with the Holy Spirit and began to speak in different languages as the Spirit gave them ability for speech, because God gave them a commission to bring others to Christ. They had to go to other lands. They had to know how to speak their language. And so that's what's happened. So, woo, y'all, I'm excited. I'm excited. I was looking for this. And so we talk about that spiritual beginning. We talk about, not just Jesus being born. We talked about that last time, but this is the spiritual beginning of how that. And I took notes. I was so excited today. And this is when my attitude of gratitude grew even more, because it talked about the birth of the church, and then like the bewilderment of the crowd, and not just of the crowd then because they thought they were drunk, thought they were crazy. It's even as Christians today, because we have a tendency to get secular. We want to live in the world. We want to feel good, okay? We want people to accept us, and sometimes we give up the way we're supposed to do things. And I've done that, and we always think that we have to go to church. We have to go to Sunday morning, have to go to Sunday night, have to go to Wednesdays. We have to do this, have to. It becomes an obligation rather than a commitment. And it should never be about have to, but we believe get to. Can you imagine how many people would love to do what we do, to have a freedom to do what we do here in America? I'm not getting into that. But as Christians, we're so lucky here in the United States that we can do this. And, and it's our birthright as Christians, because we were forgiven of sins. That's what Jesus died for, and because he became sin, and then we had the filling of the Spirit. So when I was 10, I got saved and baptized, and I remember my parents not wanting me to get saved right away. Nothing against it, they just didn't feel like I understood, but I remember fighting it so hard because I was trying to please my parents, because it's honor thy mother and thy father. And I remember getting saved and feeling so good. I felt amazing. And I don't know why, like I notice this when I talk about it sometimes, how I got out of that walk with God and lived out in the world and hid myself in guilt and shame and didn't let God in. And so I was filling it with other things, bad habits, drugs, alcohol. But today I don't have to do that. Through AA, I learned to have a relationship with a higher power. Who is the God that I grew up with? Who is the God that I let in my heart when I was 10 years old and all those fears that I had as a child were gone? And I didn't understand it until I got older. It took AA to help me learn to have a relationship with my higher power. And now that I'm older and I've given myself over to that higher power, and it took me a while to learn, I just feel so much peace. And today I've just been on the brink of tears all day at church because I'm so grateful for this today. And, you know, we're filling with the Spirit, and that's what makes us different. We're changed from the inside out. And, you know, as a Christian, sometimes I feel like a fish out of water. I've asked people before, you know, what makes me different? What keeps people from wanting to either have a relationship with me, because sometimes I'm a little bit of a loner, but I've learned through AA that it's a shared loneliness, that I have a higher power who loves me and is always with me. I'm not alone. But sometimes you want that tangible person to touch, that tangible person to hug, that person to live your life with, take care of you as you get older. And I've had people tell me I'm strange, that I'm maybe too bold, and I'm just like, and that's where he talked about, as a Christian in the world, sometimes we're like a fish out of water and we don't belong, but we're not supposed to, because eventually we're going to be where we're supposed to be. This life is just temporary. I mean, I want to enjoy it while I'm here, but you know, as Christians, sometimes we're pushing ourselves to feel what other people are feeling. And I did that too. I did that in AA for 3 years because everybody felt peace and I didn't understand where to find peace. And I finally did. And it's like we got to stop pushing like a car with an engine, you know, and we're just pushing the car even though we can drive it because it has an engine. We have to learn to abide. We have to give ourselves over to a higher power. And once I learned how to do that, I feel peace. So today is all about that attitude of gratitude. And I'm so grateful for that spiritual beginning. I mean, it would be great. You know, we see these great feats in the Bible, like flames coming down and making us all speak different languages. Probably if it happened today, everybody would think we're crazy. I would love to see something like that. But, you know, as Christians today, that we can still have that faith even though we don't see those miracles like they used to see, that says so much more about us. And I'm grateful today. And I know the building isn't important, but it's like the people inside of it. I can go to any other church. If, like, sometimes my pastor goes and he does revivals, and I'll go where he's at because, I mean, it's about the people. I couldn't imagine going somewhere else. I will if I have to. I'll visit, but it's like I'm at home in my church. I feel peace. I feel contentment. Today, I really needed today. As Christians, we have to refuel. We have to get the washing of the feet, and that's what I had today. Learning that spiritual beginning of the Pentecost of, you know, the flames coming down and everybody speaking a different language, knowing what they were going to have to do. It's like beautiful, and people can think I'm strange for that. You can think I'm strange, think I'm too bold in what I believe, but I have peace. I have contentment, you know, in my spiritual wellness. So I am human. I am flesh. I will make mistakes, but I know that I have a God that loves me and that His grace can help me just be a better person. So that's a bit about it, what I got today. I don't want to go too much further. I could go all day. Thank you all for being here for my Sunday Fun Day. Please like and subscribe to my channel on Wednesday. Starting this Wednesday, I'll have a video up talking about my new job and things I'm learning about it and stuff like that. So see y'all Wednesday. Thank you so much. God bless you. And, you know, just keep the faith. It's going to be okay. If you're having a bad time, if you're having a great time, you know what I'm talking about.